Good morning, guys. My name is Asim. Welcome back to Cloud Asim YouTube channel. In this video, we are going to do it one real-time DevSecOps project in which we are going to take Node.js application, that is Bingo gaming application, and we are going to deploy into Kubernetes cluster, and then we are going to monitor through Prometheus. We are going to collect the metrics with Prometheus and integrate in the Grafana. So we are going to integrate multiple tools related to DevSecOps. Okay. So here we are going to completely follow which is going in the organization flow, right? And who are the target audience for this is that the students who don't have the information how in the real time organization the project works flows and the tasks assigned to DevOps engineers how the flows goes on, right? From starting from our stand up meetings and assigning the ticket from Jira to completion of your task. Okay, so we will cover all the flows. Before that, let's go and check it out the Jira dashboard, right? Jira is project management tool where you're going to assign the task to your teammates. Okay, basically your team lead or your project manager or the scrum master will assign you task based on your roles assigned to you, right? So for in this case, if I check my dashboard, in the dashboard there is we are going to follow that there is some task assigned that assigned to me, right? Asim Akram. So if you check it, open this deploy Bingo application path, which is given to me, right? If you check down here, the description has been given. So that will contain all your task information, which we are going to do it, right? In the organization, I received this task, right? Which is mentioning that I have to deploy Bingo application on EKS cluster and I'm going to integrate multiple tools as well. Okay. So if you check over here, the tools which is referred to that GitHub, SonarQube, Trivy OWASP, and I'm going to use Jenkins CICD server. Okay. Then I'm going to integrate email alerts as well. Then you're going to see the domain, accessibility testing, monitoring, logging. In the acceptance criteria also mention that I should create one application deploy successfully on Kubernetes cluster and I have to automate with CI/CD. Then I'm going to integrate SonarQube, Trivy, OWASP. Then afterward, I'm going to scan the complete repo and send by one email, right? So the build email post action from the Jenkins has to be triggered. Then the app should be accessed through the subdomain that is app.cloudasim.com. Then we are going to integrate Prometheus and Grafana to monitor HTTP and HTTPS traffic on our servers. Okay, so this is the task. So first thing what we need to do, we need to drag this into in progress so that our team lead who assigned this task, who is the admin of this portal, will receive a notification stated I have started this task uh, working, right? So I'm working on this task. So I have moved from to do to in progress. So this is the Jira dashboard where you are going to mostly all the organizations use Jira as well. Okay, Jira, there is different tools, Redmine, Confluence. There are different tools, Open Project as well, one of that. But all the flows will be the same. The boards will be the same. Okay. So now I have done this one. So first task in my bucket is that I have to go and review and I have to create my infrastructure, right? On which I'm going to integrate all the tools, right? So let's check out the flow as well. Then I'll explain simple. So what I'm going to in this project is that, okay, I'm going to I'm going to integrate GitHub with CI/CD Jenkins pipeline, okay, where I'm going to use Jenkins as a CI/CD server. In that server, I'm going to write one declarative pipeline. In the pipeline, I'm going to integrate all the tools that is SonarQube, Trivy, OWASP, Docker, right? Docker Hub credentials. Then I'm going to deploy that application as well into our Docker container. Then I'm going to integrate that with Prometheus and Grafana. For Prometheus Grafana server, that is monitoring server, which I'm going to use Terraform to create that server. Okay, so we are creating two servers, one server for the Bingo application with Jenkins and all the tools. Then we are using one monitoring with the Grafana and Prometheus. Then we are using Gmail for the alerts of Jenkins in case of our build CI/CD pipeline, its success or failure. The team should get alerts so that they should know that the pipeline is success or failure, and they can even check out the files like the scan file for the TV and everything. They can review that and they can be assigned to developer as well. Okay, so this is the flow which we are going to integrate. So Gmail SMTP we are going to use in this project as well. Okay, so first thing what we need to do, we need to create the infrastructure on which we are going to deploy our Jenkins, SonarQube, Trivy, and all the remaining up to here. Okay, So this is the part we have in this video, three parts. First part, as I mentioned, that I'm going to install Jenkins and the remaining tools. Second part, I'm going to configure one uh, Amazon EKS cluster, that is Kubernetes cluster, on which I'm going to deploy our application. Third part is we are going to go for monitoring server, where we are going to use Terraform to create the server. In the server, we are going to configure Prometheus Grafana, their node exporter, and black box exporter, and we are going to do it some of the configurations, and we are going to take that metrics and integrate into the Grafana dashboard, where we can visualize all the traffic in the metrics in the better way. Okay, so this is a part of our plan for today at the task. We will check out, like we will make the test case, so at the end of the video this all flow has to be passed. Okay, so if you have not subscribed to our channel, please do subscribe, because 80% of our viewers are non-subscribers. Okay, so that you receive latest update. And I have started the project series as well, where I'm going to periodically uploading our DevSecOps project with multiple tools enhancement. Okay, please do subscribe. Okay, right, as I mentioned that after this you're going to see this kind of application. Okay, so first step what you require is that you require infrastructure. Okay, so we require infrastructure. Then we are going to install all the packages on our EC2 instance. Then we are going to integrate all our tools one at on, and we are going to progressive watch. So have a tea, take a sip, and watch this video till the end, and you will be perfect how you're going to ship your code to production environment, or you can say stage environment. Mean by infrastructure is that we require one virtual machine, Ubuntu, right? So for that use case, what we are going to do it, we are going to go for AWS. Okay, in the AWS, what we are going to do is that we are going to create one virtual machine, right? For our use case, we don't have any physical servers, so what we are AWS is providing easy setup, right? Ready to use virtual machines. So for that use case, I have logged in into my account. If you don't have the account, you can watch my channel. In the channel there is how to create AWS free account. From there you can watch the video, right? I will tag that as well. You can create the account, right? So after that, click on the instances. I don't have any instance, so I'll be clicking on this launch instance, right? In the launch instance, I'll be giving about a simple, let's say, virtual machine, right? Virtual machine name, simple. I'll keep it as simple as that. Then afterwards, I'll be checking out Ubuntu operating system. Then I'll be keeping 2408, that is the latest version from the Ubuntu. Then in this case, as I'm going to deploy multiple applications, then I'm going to go with T3X large. Okay, T3X large, I'm going to check it out. That is coming with 4 CPU and 16 GB memory. Okay, and then afterwards, I'm going to create one new key pair, where I'm going to give it ASIM virtual virtual key, right? So I'll click on it, that can be PEM. I'll click on this create key pair, right? That is downloaded over here. Then I'm giving everything as a default, right? Security group. We will enable progressively when we are going to configure the multiple tools, right? So for that, let's say in the storage, what I'm going to do it, I'm going to add 14 GB, right? 14 GB as a storage, because when I'm going to create nodes, right, for the Kubernetes clusters, at the time we can use 88 GB for that. Okay, so 16 plus 88 GB, that is 16 plus 14 is 30. That is come in the free tier from AWS. Okay, so we can optimize this pricing as well in this state. So after that, if I review over here, I'm going with the T3X large, everything, and I'll be clicking on the launch instance. Okay, in the meanwhile, what will happen, this instance will be created. Okay, so what I'm going to do it from here, I'm going to access this virtual machine which I have configured, right? So for that use case, I'm going to open the mobile system, that is third party application, which I'm going to click on this session, right? In this case, I'm going to for SSH protocol. Then I'm going to give my IP, which I have taken from my account, right, after creation. Then I'm going to specify Ubuntu, because this is Ubuntu default username. Then I'm going to give the key which is on desktop, right? I'm going to select this, and I'm going to click OK. we access our Linux machine, right? So what we need to do it, we need to install some of the packages, right? The packages what we require, we need to install Docker, we need to install Trivy, we need to install SonarQube as a Docker container. Then we need to install multiple EKS, CTL, and AWS CLI. So what I have documented that. I will be sharing with you in the GitHub repository, right, where you can go and find this as well. So the repository which I'm going to use it, this is the repository, right, Bingo one, which is on my account, right? This is open, right, which is for the public access. If you check it over here, you are going to find that there is a one installation script over here, right? If you click over, you will be finding that there are the multiple steps need to use to install our different tools, right? So what I'm going to do it, first I'm going to copy this, just I'm pasting this installation. Let me just switch to root user so that I can minimize the effects, and I'll paste it over here. And the first step what I'm going to install the Jenkins on my Linux machine, right? Okay, Jenkins has been installed. The next step what we are going to do it, I'm just going to copy, and I'm going to install what? I'm going to install Docker and create a container, right? So for that, I just copy it over here and I'm going to paste it over here, right? So what I'm going to do it, I'm just installing the Docker, then I'm deploying SonarQube as a Docker container, right? So for that, I have copied all the command over here. Let's wait and let's see. Okay, so the Docker is installed. Let me check it out. Docker is installed. No, its Docker version is fine. Then afterwards, let me check Docker PS. Yes, Docker PS. No, it does. There is no Docker container has been configured. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to copy this over here, and I'm going to paste it over here, right? So that let's configure SonarQube as well. So what is done is fetching the image of SonarQube from the Docker Hub, and it is creating the container out of that. And I have passed the 9000 port number. So internal container port number is 9000, and the host machine also is 9000, where I'm going to map this. Okay. So now if I'm checking Docker PS, I'm going to find that Docker is all sorry, SonarQube is up and running, right, on 9000. So this prerequisite is also complete. Then afterwards, what we require, we need to install kubectl, right? Because we need to communicate with our right. Later on, what we are going to do it, we are going to create. We are going to communicate with our Kubernetes cluster, right? In that case, what we are going to do it, we need some packages in order to communicate with our AX cluster, right? It is basically EKS clusters, right? That is fine. That version has been printed. The next step, what I'm going to do it, I'm going to install Trivy on this, right? So I need Trivy out of this. So I'm just pasting over here, right? So I'm installing Trivy. So let us print that Trivy as well in the later stage. Okay. Let's check it out. Trivy-v. So it will print me the Trivy version is already configured. So now what we have done, we have installed mostly of this. Then we need to install AWS CLI as well, communicate with our AWS account, right? So we are going to create EKS cluster. So we require one AWS account, right? So whatever commands we are going to use in our Linux machine, for that we require AWS CLI. Okay. If I print AWS, then it should print what help do we require, right? So it's showing that AWS, right? If I go for AWS hyphen version, then it will print that what kind of AWS version I'm using. I'm using AWS CLI 2.24.13, right? So this prerequisite also configured. Now what we required EKS installation. Okay, this I will explain completely, right? Just I'm copying over here and I'll be pasting over here just to configure, right? So if I hit enter over here, EKS CTL also will be configured. This is we are going to communicate with our AWS instance, AWS account to create EKS clusters. Okay, for that we required EKS CTL packages to be installed on our machine. Okay, so that is also completed, right? Well, I have opened the security group, right, which is attached to my server, EC2 instance. Then I'm clicking on this edit inbound rule where I'm going to add a new rule. And I'm saying that open all the TCP for this current use case, right? I'm opening all the ports, but only for the demonstration purpose. I'm opening all the TCP ports, okay? Okay, this ports has been reflected, open now. So what I'm going to do it now, I'm going to uh, go back to my EC2 instance, right? What I'm going to take it, just I'm going for this machine, and what I'm going to do it, I'm going to check out the IP address. This is the IP address, right? So for this IP address, what I'm going to do, I'm going to the browser and I'm giving the IP address of this. Then I'm giving 9000 over here. So I'm going 8080. First, what we need to do, we are accessing Jenkins. Let's fix that Jenkins as well, right? So we need to do some of the settings in the Jenkins to create our first CI/CD pipeline, right? Which will be the declarative. So it's saying that there is a one password which is resides on this area on our server side. So this path I'm going to copy over here. Then I'm going for the terminal. Then I'm using cat command to display this part. Okay, just paste it and hit enter. If I entered over here, then I'm seeing that password is being received. Okay, just I'm copying over here. I'm going back to my browser. Then I'm pasting over here. So when you click on this continue, then you're able to find that I would find that the prompt is giving that you want to install the plugins. I'm saying that install suggestion plugins over here. So it will install the suggestion plugins for the Jenkins, right? So meanwhile, what we will do it, we will go and we will access the SonarQube as well. We need to set up SonarQube, right? For that use case, what we need to do it, we need to give 9000 port. Okay. So So I'm able to log in over here to the dashboard of right login dashboard of SonarQube. There I'm what I'm going to give it. I'm giving the user and password. By default, SonarQube has login and password as a same admin, right? For that use case, what we are going to do it, we are going to create one document, right, where I'm going to add all the credentials which I'm going to create. So for that use case, what I have done, I have created the SonarQube and I will write over here the new password because it's going to ask me this, right? I'm going to give it admin. Then I'm going to give it admin 123 just to remember it. Admin, right? 123. Let me just review over here. That's fine. I will update. Okay. SonarQube. Fine. So now what's the point over here is that we have successfully configured, right? For that, let me add it over here, admin 123 as password. I have set it out, right? So that I should use in this progress of installation of all the packages, right? So now in the Jenkins, what we have done, we are let's check it out where the state of the Jenkins is. If I go over here, so it's prompting me to add it over here again, right? So I will give you admin, then I will give it admin 123 as well over here admin 123, right? So let me cross check is correct. I will give it as cloud asim over here, cloud asim, right? Then I will scroll over here and I will give it cloud asim at gmail.com, right? Guys, if you are not subscribed to the channel, so that please do subscribe so that you receive latest update, latest projects from our channel as well, right? So I will add admin over here and I will save this. Okay, so it's prompting me that Jenkins access URL is our IP address, then 8080 port. Okay, that's fine. Just I'm saving over here. So our Jenkins has been configured now with the name, account, and everything, right? Guys, this is the dashboard of Jenkins, right? Where we need to create a one CI/CD pipeline and we need to install different type of plugins which we required in this project. Okay, so if you check it over here, you're going to find a different option. Where is it? If you want to create a pipeline, you have to click over here. If I want to check the history of this build in the Jenkins, then the option of the build history. If I want to install any plugin and if I want to configure any tool on the server side, then this is the option of manage Jenkins. So in our case, what we need to install some plugins, right? So I'll go to the manage plugins. Then afterwards, I'll go for the plugins over here. Then over here, then we'll go for the available plugins, right? Then I will be searching over here. The first plugin what we required is that we required Eclipse plugin, right? Eclipse Terraform. So I'll click on this. So one is checkout. Then afterwards, I need a SonarQube plugin, right? So I'll be checking out SonarQube Scanner, right? Then afterwards, I'll be going with the Node.js application, Node.js, right, where my application is based on Node.js, where I require Node.js plugin. Okay, so three I have already set up. Then afterwards I need OWASP integration, so I need to check out OWASP dependency check. Okay, so I'll be clicking on this OWASP dependency check plugin that I need for my project. Then afterwards I need stage view, right? So I want to view what's the stage view of my builds. Okay, so what I'm going to do it stage, let me search this pipeline stage view. Okay, so I'm checking out this as well because we want to see the what stage is our pipeline going to build in this next steps, right? So after that, what we required some of these Docker plugins as well. Okay, because we are going to integrate that, right? We are going to integrate our Docker hub with our pipeline with our Jenkins, and we're going to push that, right? For that, I'm going to check Docker. Then I'm going to check Docker commons. Then I'm going to check Docker pipeline. Then I'm going to check Docker API. Then I'm going to check Docker build step. Okay, this all plugins I'm going to install. So how many plugins are there? 1 2 11 plugins I need to install. So just I'm clicking on this install, so all plugins will be installed. So if you check it over here, it's stating that all the plugins is getting installed now. Okay, after getting installation, what I'm going to do it, I'm going to restart my Jenkins server. Okay, for that use case, how I'm going to just I'm going to click over here, so it will install because there is no jobs is being proceed on our server. Okay, fine. Jenkins has restarted where I'm going to give the credentials which I have said, right? So just I'm going to check out as sign in where it's going to proceed me to that page, right? So what I'm going to do it, I'm going back to the manage Jenkins. Now what we have done, we have added the plugins, right? We need to configure the tools and the server side. So first step, what I need to do it, Docker based step, no problem. I'll go to the tools over here, right? If I'm clicking on the tools, then you're able to find that in the tools, first thing what we need to configure, we need to configure JDK, which is being used by a SonarQube, right? In this case, I have to define that one name, which I'm going to call in my pipeline, right? When I'm going to write pipeline, the pipeline script, in that script, through script, I'm going to call this the JDK version. Okay, so after that, if you check it over here, I'm going to click automate install automatically. If you drop down here, there'll be one option that install from adoptm.net. Okay, what kind of version do we require to install? In this case is that we are going to get with the 16 JDK 17 version, right? Okay, I'll be selecting 17.01 version. Okay, then afterward there is a option for that. So next step what we are going to do, we are going to go for SonarQube over here. Okay, so in the point you will get it SonarQube scanner installation, right? If I click over here, it's getting what kind of name you're going to define for that. For simple, what I'm going to do it, I'm going to give it Sonar Scanner, right? So the same name I'm going to call it over there. So by default it's getting over there, so I'll keep it at SonarQube 705. But in our case, we can go for any version. For in my case, which I have tested, I'll go with the 5.01 version. Okay, so Scanner is done. Then afterwards we need to configure Node.js installation, right? For this, what we required Node.js 16 version. Okay, for that I'm going to add Node.js, right? Node, sorry, I'm going to add Node 16 as the name, and then afterwards what I'm going to do it, I'm going to install automatically, right? and I'm going to take the version of this as 16.2.0 because this is what in which my application has been created, right? And the package JSON also is has defined 16.2.0, right? So I'll be clicking on this version, right? After that, what I'm going to do it 16.2.0, right? Then afterwards I'll be going down, then I need to configure dp check, right? So I have configured dp check. For that I'm going to call it as dp name, right, which I'm going to call from the script as well, which I will show you. So in this case I'm going to install automatically from where, from the GitHub, right, from the GitHub also. So in this way, the version we can be 6.51, which I have been tested, right? So I'm going for 6.5.1. Okay. So this point is already done. Then we require Docker installation on our Jenkins server, right? So for that, I will add Docker. Then I'm going to name as a Docker, right? In this case, I'm going to click on this installation where I'm going to check it as uh, Docker download from the Docker. Then I'm going to check it out where I'm going to download from the docker.com. I'm giving latest. Okay. So what we have done up to now, we have added multiple tools we have configured now. Okay. Just I'll click on this apply and I will save it over here. So what happened? We have defined the tools now. During the writing the script, we can call these tools, right? Right, I will show you that part, don't worry about that. Now what we need to do it, we need to configure the system, right? So for that, what we need to do it, we'll go back over here. Then if you go down over here, you will be finding one SonarQube over there. Okay, just let me just go, there is a point over here, SonarQube installation. Let me just scroll down where I have missed. SonarQube server, SonarQube installation, right? The list of the SonarQube installation. If you click on this, then it's giving the name where we are going to define this. The name I'm going to give it Sonar, then I'm giving it as Sonar server. Okay, Sonar. Let me just correct it over here. Then the name as I have given as Sonar server. Okay. Then afterwards, I have to give the URL on which our Sonar server is running. So in my case, where is that? It's running on this URL. Okay. For that, I'm going to copy up to 9,000. Okay. So this is the IP on which my server is running. So I need to remove this black slash. Okay, slash always. So I have given this over here. Then it's asking me to add a server authentication token. Okay, for this use case, what we need to do it, we need to go and create this server token from Sonar server. Okay, SonarQube server. For that step, what we will do it, we will go back to SonarQube. Then I'll go back over here. I click on the administration, then I'll click on the security, then I'll click on the users. Okay. So if you check it over here, you will find that there is a user has been created with the admin. It has some permissions to log in, right? Which is the admin over here. So now I'm going to click on this, right? So it's saying that you can create a new token over this. So for that, what I'm going to do it, I'm going to create one token. Token name, I'm going to give it as Jenkins, right? Then afterwards I'm added at 30 days. You can add it based on your requirement. Then I will click generate over here. So when you click on the generate, one token will be generated, right? For that I'm going to copy this. Okay, so I'm going to copy this, I'm going to take it over here, and I'm going to paste it over here. Okay, for my reference which I'm going to use. So I will write it as sonar token. So this token we are going to add in the Jenkins, authenticate the Sonar Cube, right? So it will go and it will authenticate with this token, right? The Sonar Cube. So this point is clear. So after that, what I'm going to do, I'm going back over here. I'm just going to add it over here in the Jenkins, right? So what happened here, I'm going to add this credential which I have created. So after this, I'm going to go with the secret text. Okay, secret text. Then I'm going to add this secret text over here. Then I'm going to give the ID. The ID I'm going to call it as Sonar, right? token, which I'm going to give the name so that I can call this from the Jenkins pipeline, okay, script pipeline. So after that, just I'm going to, I need no need description, just to, I'll write a token over here, right? Then I will save it. So now if I was checking out, just a second, it was not showing any token authenticate the SonarQube, right? So if it drop down over here, you're saying you are finding that one token is available, okay? So I'll be clicking on this, and just a second, let me just check it out. So what we will do it one more time, we will open in one new tab, and let me cross check over this. And let me go to the credentials, right? Then afterwards I have added over here. So let me open this. So let me update with this. So I missed out to name it. Name this token. I no need to give the description over here. So just I will save it as Sonar token, right? Let me refresh now. So it's gone as Sonar token, right? Which I'm going to apply. Okay. Then I'm going to the bottom. Then I'm going to click on this apply. Then I'm going to save this credentials what I have mentioned over here, right? So after that, what I'm going to do it, I'm going back again into the Jenkins, manage Jenkins, where I'm going to add Docker credentials as well. Because end of the day, we have to push our Docker image to Docker Hub registry, right? Which is my private registry over here. So for that, what I need to do, I need to go into the Docker container, sorry, into the credentials. Then I will be saying that add new credentials, right? After that, I will say user password. In my case, what is my username? My username is over here, asimakram19, that I will be adding over here. The password I have to give what we have, right? So for my case, I have a password that I'm going to add it over here, right? So let me cross check the password 5, right? After that, what we need to give the ID as well, right? So for that use case, ID I will be giving as a Docker, which I'm going to call later on, right? So description as well, I'm going to give it Docker, okay? So I'm going to create this so that I can call during the Jenkins pipeline, okay? During the Jenkins, I can call this one, okay? So where what we have added the credentials up to now in the global credentials, we have added Sonar token in order to communicate with our Sonar server, right? SonarQube server. Then we have added Docker credentials in order to push our Docker images to our registry, right? Which is Asim Akram 19. Okay, this is fine. So what happened? The pre-request what we have done is completely fine. Now the next part what we have to do it, we have to go and we have to create a one Jenkins pipeline, right? So we have configured all the tools, servers, and even added the credentials over here. So for that use case, we are going to use Jenkins declarative pipeline. Okay, declarative pipeline in the sense where we are going to write a code in term of code for your pipelines. Okay, so I'll be clicking on this new term, new item, right, where I'm going to give as bingo one project, sorry, bingo one, right? Then I'm going to click as pipeline script. Okay, so I'll be clicking on this. Okay, then I'll be proceeding further. Then afterwards, I'm going to add this is for dev environment, right? Just for remembrance, just I will add it over here. So after this, for the best practice, I will keep it as 3 builds so that to minimize the storage which we are going to consume for this. Then afterwards, I'm going below over this. Then I'm going to create one simple pipeline script. Okay, for that you can use it hello world script. Okay, for this use case I can add it as cm, right? Source code management, right? Where our source code manager reside, that is in the GitHub, right? From the GitHub where we have the main branch. From here I'm going to copy, just a second, let me go over here. I'm going to copy the url of my repository. Then I'm going to I'm going for where I'm going for the pipeline syntax, right? Where I'm going to create the syntax, right? Where I'm going to click it, then I'm going to give it the repository URL, then I'm going to give the branch. My branch is main, then credential I don't require because my repository is public. Okay, so I'm going to check this checkout, then I'm going to paste it over here. Okay, so this is the first step, right, in our pipeline, which we are going to execute now. Okay, so let's save and let us build this pipeline, right? So you must post to trigger proceed instead of token file proceed. Okay, so okay, so what we will do it, we will build one more again. So if I build it now, it's showing that build has been scheduled. If you check it over here, it's stating that build has been successful. Okay, so if you check it over here, you'll be finding that what is the checkout? Let me see. So let me see the console output of our pipeline. So it's stating that it has gone to the GitHub, right? The user is Cloud Asim. That's fine. I have created this pipeline. I have triggered this pipeline. Okay, it's saved in this repository on my EC2 instance, right? Then afterwards, it what is done, it gone to, it has communicated with my repository and it has fetched all the details, right? So that finished the status of our pipeline is finished success. Okay, so if I check in the workspace, then you will find that whatever the code was available, that has been fetched from the GitHub. Okay, so now let's go to the pipeline again, then let's add multiple stages to that. Okay, so I'll go into the configure. Well, I will be giving you that pipeline script. So what I have written over here, so simply I'm going to add it over this, then I'll be pasting over there. Okay, so I will explain just to minimize my time. Already I have covered in one video, then I'm going to paste it over here, right? Just I will explain you guys how we are doing this part. Okay, so let's go with this first step, what we have added, and you will find this even this Jenkins file in our repository. Okay, you'll be finding over here the Jenkins file. Okay, so I'll be clicking over here. First thing what we are doing, we are defining the tool, right? As I mentioned that uh, we have set up JDK, right? If you check it over here in the past, then I have configured JDK and I have mentioned that JDK 17 in my configurations. Okay, and even in the Node.js, I have mentioned that this is Node.js 16. Okay, so after that, I'm defining the tools, right? Then afterwards, for the SonarQube, you need to define the environment. For the Sonar Scanner, right? I'm going to I have given the name, well, the setting on the environment, right? There for the server, I have defined that the name to be Sonar Scanner, right? So for that, I'm going to call it over here. Okay. So for the what we require, we need to clean first whatever the stages we required in this. First, we are cleaning the workspace in every build. Whatever the last code was exist on your workspace of the Jenkins, that need to be deleted so that it should not have any conflicts. Okay. Then afterwards, what I'm going to do it, I'm going to check out from the code from Git. So this is a URL which I have just shown you. Then afterwards, we are doing SonarQube analysis, right? So what we are doing, we are taking this SonarQube analysis and we are communicating with our SonarQube server, where we are defining that has to be name as a bingo. Okay, bingo, we are defining that bingo project, right? Then after that, we are passing one quality gate. This I have not set up yet, but we will set up now. After that, I'm installing npm install the packages to be of this application to be installed, because it's a Node.js application and npm is a node package manager. Okay, then afterwards, we are using OPAS scan, right? Where we are going to call with the DP. DP we have set up while creating this tool, okay? Which I will be showing you. Then afterwards, what we are doing, we are scanning our complete code, right? Code of the GitHub repository, right? And whatever the vulnerabilities we found, that need to be documented in the form of .txt format, okay? After that, what we are going to create, we are going to create one Docker image. Okay, for Docker image, what we are going to give it, rename as bingo, and the Docker file is exist on this repository. Okay, if I go over here, you will be finding that there is a simple Dockerfile repository, Dockerfile written in this. We are defining the node 16, then we are defining the work directory, and I'm copying packages and everything. Then I'm installing the packages, then I'm copying the code into the Docker container, Docker file, sorry, Docker image. Then I'm executing while creating the Docker container command as npm run build. With this command, my application will be up and running. Okay, I'm defining the port as well 3000. So this all things be done, and what the command is used is that npm run dev to start my application. Before that I'm building my application. Sorry to correct this. So before that I'm building the application, then I'm running this application. So this is reside in my repository, no need to worry about that. Okay, so this everything has been done. So only if you go for our pipeline, if what we need to do it, we missed out one point. We need to configure what we need to configure quality gate. Okay, so first we need to do it, we need to go into the into our sonar cube, right? Let me done. Then afterwards I'll go for configuration, then I'll go for webhook, right? Then I'll be writing create webhook, then I'm giving the name as Jenkins, right? Jenkins, and I need to give the URL of my Jenkins server. For that use case, what I'm going to copy this over here and copy, and I'm going to paste it over here. In your case, you have to copy your URL, okay, URL of your server, okay. So after that, what we need to do it, we need to just give it as we give it over there. Just I need to give it the Sonar Cube, then hyphen webhooks, okay, then I'll giving slash. So this is my URL where Jenkins is up and running. Then afterwards I have to define SonarQube dash, right, and webbook slash, okay. Then afterwards I no need any secret over here. A secret will be used as a key to generate XML. No need, just I'll get it as create over here. So if you check it over here, it's saying that this webbook has been configured, okay. So that's fine. Let me go back to my Jenkins, right, Jenkins file. Okay, I'll be applying and save, and let us check it out. And I'll show you one more point as well. See, the motive is to create the Docker container out of our application Docker image, and to test is that image, while creation of image to Docker container, is my container accessible, and is my container is working, right, is working, is in the runtime, that is failing while creation of Docker container. No, so this motive is only to test it out. After that we will eliminate this and we will deploy into Kubernetes cluster. Okay, you got my point. Okay, that's fine. Apply, save, and let me trigger now. So it will take some time because we have all these steps included in this. So let me go over this and let me see what is it. JDK 17. Okay, so let me go and check it out what we have missed. So what we will do, we will go to the Docker, we'll go to tools over here, and we will cross check. Okay, here let me go over here. It's showing 2 points, right? So in this case, I'll go back to the Jenkins file. Let me go to the Jenkins configure, and let me just go back below here, and let me check it out what name we have given over here, right? So let me click on this. I have given JDK 17. Okay, so in our case I will be calling this JDK 17, sorry, JDK 17. And then afterwards, if I'm going down, then I have another issue of this. I have node 16 over here, right? So I'm going to update this node 16. This has to be in capital letter. Node 16, let me correct this. Node 16, that's fine. And let me update this Jenkins file as well, which I have done. So I will just apply and I will save it, and I will rebuild now, and let's check it out. Does this issue get solved or no, right? So if you check it over here, it's saying that declarative tool is installed, right? So let me fix after this my Jenkins, sorry, my GitHub repository as well with the latest code. Hmm. So if you check it over here, all the stages has been passed, right? If you check over here, you'll be finding that all the stage has been passed. First, what will happen is that declared the tools which we have declared that has been installed on our machine, right? After that, the clean workspace has been executed. That means that whatever this code was there, it has cleared our workspace, the directory. Then afterward, the code has been checked out from the GitHub repository. Then afterwards, it had done SonarQube analysis. Then it has done quality git pass, right? Then afterwards, what happened, it installed dependency with the npm install command, right? Then afterwards, what we have done, we have scanned OPAS, our file scan system. Then we have gone for TV scanning, right? File system. Then we have created the Docker image, right? From the Docker file. Then we have pushed the Docker image to our Docker Hub registry, right? Then afterwards, we have used Trivy to scan our Docker image, right? And what we have done, we have put the output to in one file, that is .trv image.txt. Okay. Then afterwards, it was deployed to container. So now if I'm going over here and if I'm clicking on this build force, if you check the console output, then you'll find all the steps which I have defined, right? It has created the workspace. Then afterwards, what happened, it has created, then it has defined the sonar cube, right? Everything, scanner, right? After that, if you go over here, what is done, it has created SonarQube task, right? After that, what happened, it has checked for DP check, that is for dependency, as I mentioned that DP check has been done, right? Opa's DP check, where it have scanned all our file system, right? Then afterward, Trivy has scanned this file system using the Trivy. Then all things. Then afterwards, what happened? It has created the image out of our Docker file for our code, right? Then it had executed Docker build -t bingo from the current directory where I have Docker file. So it has created all this. Afterwards, whatever it has created the Docker file out of that. Okay. So if you go down here, it has executed run npm run build, right? Then afterwards, it has started building our application. Then afterwards, everything is done. Then it say that Docker run, the container has been executed. Now let's validate with this point. If the Jenkins file is saying that that is successful, right? End of the day, you are finding that finished and success. So it has to create one project over in my SonarQube. So let's check it out over here. Yes, it has created one project in my SonarQube server. Okay. If I check on the SonarQube server, there what you can find it, you can find bugs is available, vulnerabilities, security hotspots, and line of code. How many lines? There is 2.1 line, 2.1k lines is available, and code smells, right? This all kind of data is available, right? This data will be shared to the developer teams, like who are working for this, and they will fix all this and they will make sure that this count to be zero. Okay. So what they will do, they will click on this, right? And they will go for this, and what they will do, they will check it out and they will fix this bug. Okay. So this is how SonarQube will help you out, okay, to scan our bugs, to find out the bugs, vulnerabilities available, right? It has given the D. Then afterwards, security hotspot. That means there is something fishy about the code. Okay, quality of code is not good, and there is a code smell as well. Then it's saying the maintainability is A. Okay, so this part is done. We have validated SonarQube. That SonarQube scan has been done. Okay. Then the next part, what we have to do it, then we will go over here again, and then I will go back to the bingo, right? Then I'll go click on this. Then I will go for workspace. Then I'm saying that Sonar Cube has scanned, sorry, Rivi has scanned my file, right? All the code which is reside on the GitHub on my repository. So it's supposed to create one what files contrivy fs.txt. If I open it over here, so it's giving it's kind of point over here, right? So no problem. Let me just maintainer away. Okay. So this is giving one file. Okay. So even the Trivy image, if I click on the Trivy image, it's saying that Trivy image is done, right? So this is fine. It's printing something. It's saying that there is a 6,400 peaks, 1,181. everything has been given. So this is in the JSON format. We can convert into any readable text format as well. For the practice version, that's fine. We will just we have reviewed everything, right? What happened? This has created two files. It has created Trivy image and Trivy file scan. Then it has created one more, that is Node.js for pass, right? Which was it has given dpcheck.xml file. Okay, so let's go over here. So it has created one XML file as well. Okay, so in this case, what we have done, we have validated that all the scan has been done successfully. It has done Trivy scan, it has done Trivy image scan, file system scan, it has done dependency check as well. So now the point is that does it created a Docker image and Docker container out of that? So for and I will check it Docker images, right? So it should print me there is a one Docker image is available, right? So Docker image has been created asim 19 bingo. Okay, that's fine. That has created in 6 minutes ago. So now let's check it out. Does it have created the container out of that? So it's saying that one container has been created. That container name is what? It is asim 19, right? So container name, let me check it out one more time. Okay, so it has created one container, right? Asim with the bingo latest image, and it has mapped 3000 to the 3000. Okay, and it has named as bingo container. Okay, so what I am going to do it now, I check it out that container has been created, but it's working or no, right? Is it accessible through the browser and its functionality is working or not, right? For that use case, what I'm going to do it first, I'm going to go over here and I'm going to use the command as docker logs hyphen f, the flag to know the runtime. Then I will take the container ID and I will paste it over here and I will hit enter. So whatever I'm going to access on my browser related to that, that has to print over here, right? So for that use case, what I'm going to do it, I'm going to copy the code over here, the IP address of my server, and I'll be pasting over here. Then I'm going 3000 on which my application is hosted. So if I click over here, my application should work now. Okay, that means my deployment, my container is working fine, my image is working fine. So you got my access of the bingo application. What I'm going to do it, I'm going to create one room. Okay, so for that I'm going to give it as asim room, then I'm giving it asim. Okay, then I'm going to enter into this room. Okay, so what will happen, it will create one room over here. Okay, so let me does it printing? Yes, it's printing over here that asim room is created and the name has given asim. Okay, that means whatever the access of our application, that is fine. Our application is working 100%. Now the agenda of this is to take this docker container and sorry docker container, docker image, docker container, right, and deploy into our Kubernetes cluster. Okay, so that point, let me exit from this. Well, in this stage, what we are going to do it, we are going to proceed further, right? For to proceed further, what we are going to integrate are, we are going to integrate one SMTP server where we require the post action whenever the Jenkins pipeline is triggered, irrespective of build failure or success, we should receive one email alert, right? For that use case, we required one SMTP server, right? If you want SMTP server, there are the multiple use cases where you can access the credentials, right, of SMT server. One is you can use AWS SES service, right? SES service stands for the same thing where you need to authenticate your domain and you need to request AWS to provide you SMTP server, right? The second way easy in terms of testing and integration where you can convert your Gmail account into SMTP server. So we will be following this step inside this tutorial. So let's go and check it out over here. So what I'm going to do it, I'm going to just go for here, manage your Google account. Then afterwards, then I'll be proceeding to the security. In the search, I need to search as app password. Okay. So if I check out on the app password, you will be finding that there is, I need to provide the credentials, right? Because it will ask you to validate because we are converting our account into SMTP server, right? So what I'm going to do it, I'm going to give the name of this as a bingo one, right? Just to remember that this token is created for that. So it has created one token, right? So app password that we are going to integrate in our Jenkins server, right? In our pipelines. So let me override this one, right? So this what we have done, we have generated, I'll be saying done. So our pre-request of creating the token for SMTP server is completed. Now what you required is that we need to go and we need to configure this. So when you're going for the Jenkins, where we need to configure in systems, okay, where global systems we need to configure, right? So if you check it over here, we required one plugin. So let me open in the one. So I'll show you that plugin as well. So what I need to do is that first I need to install email extension plugin, right? So email extension template is there. I think that I have already installed. Let me cross check over here. Email extension plugin, right? This plugin should be installed because we are using in declarative pipeline, right? We are going to configure based on our request that always to be email alerts to the users. Okay. So this is installed in my end. If you're missing to install this plugin, please do install. So after that one you need to do it, we need to go into the systems. In the system, what we need to do, we need to configure SMTP server credentials and everything inside this. So if you come into the drop down, you'll be finding that email notification, right? In the email notification, you should pass all the credentials related to SMTP server, right? First, what we need to do it, we need to pass our SMTP server. What kind of SMTP server we are using? We are using SMTP dot gmail, sorry, gmail.com, right? Because we are using email. Here I'm going to give it at gmail.com, right? So this is done. Then afterwards is asking what kind of authentication we are going to use. We are going to use US SMTP authentication. Username will be the my same email address on which I have created ASCII, right? So for that, I'm going to give it as gmail.com, right? Email address. Then I need to give this passkey which I have created, right? Token. So just I'm going to copy over here and I'm going to paste it here, right? Then I'm going to use TLS. It's prompting us either use TLS or SLS. So for security reason, I'm using SSL, sorry, TLS, right? This SMTP port which you need to configure over here is you need to give it as 584 on which this SMTP server will integrate, right? Is 587. So after that, we need to give one email address. So whenever you receive reply from the users, right, from the email, that should be directed to whom. So I'm giving my same email address on which I'm creating SMTP server. So everything is fine. Now I'm going to test it, right? So I'm saying that is the credential which I provided over here is going to validate that it's working or no, right? So I'm going to give it over here. I'm going to test the configuration. So it's saying that email was sent successfully. So that means our configuration, our token is working fine. Okay. So I'm going to apply, right? So I have changes the apply. Then we need to add email extension as well. Okay. So if you scroll here, extended email notification. This will be configured when you are going to install the plugin. If you don't find this option in the system configuration, then you need to install the plugin which I've showed you, right? Email notification plugin. So for that use case, what we need to configure completely. So first thing what I'm going to do is smtp dot gmail.com. I'm going to give it over here. Then I need to change the port, the default port on which it will be working 465. Then afterwards here I need to pass the credential of SMTP server. In this case I need to pass through the Jenkins vault, right? That is credentials. So for that I don't have any credentials. Sorry, I have any credentials. I'll be adding one more over here just to show you, right? So I'm using which kind of authentication? I'll be using username and password. What will be the my username? Will be my email address. And what will be the password? Password will be the passkey which we have generated. Okay. So I'll be saving over here. The key name I'm going to give it SMTP ID1, right? Just to remember, I'll be adding, let's say, bingo, so that I can cross check I'm going to use for this, right? I'm going to add it over here. Now this has been added. So in the drop down, I'm going to check the which I have added over here. Okay. So I have checked out this one. Then afterwards, I'm going to use SSL authentication, right? Because it's saying that please use one one of TSL or SSL. So I'll be using the TSL one. Okay. So after that, if you scroll down over here, then you're going to find that everything I'm going to keep it as default. Okay. So I'll be proceeding further, then everything is fine. Then I'm going to apply and I'm going to save. Now, what we have done, we have created one SMTP server credentials that we have added in the Jenkins credentials, right? The token and the username, and we have configured as a global to a global system as well. Okay, that's fine. So now what we need today, if you check my pipeline over here, you'll be finding that the pipeline is what the pipeline which I have existing pipeline that is successful, right? Here I don't have a such stage of post email alerts. So what I have written over here the added steps, right, which we are going to show you. Okay, so if you check it over here, then it's kind of post build action, right? Here I'm saying as well. That means whenever the my build pipeline, CIC pipeline, either it's failed, either is passed, right, it's success, I should receive one email alert. Then I'm going to pass this criteria just to fetch which kind of user I've generated this pipeline triggered. Okay, who have triggered this pipeline, either from the Jenkins server or from GitHub repository, right? If one developer puts the code, so that can be given as if the code is pushed by any developer, that it will print as GitHub user. If it is generated by our the administrator or the one I'm going to generate now using a login into the Jenkins, right? At that time, it will take the Jenkins username and it will print that. Then here I'm going to check in the subject of my email what I'm going to print it. I'm going to print the status of my build. Then I'm going to add env and the build number, right? And in the body what I'm sending this a bingo CICD pipeline. Then I'm printing the job name, build number, build status failed or pass, and who has triggered this, right? Which kind of user has triggered this is from the Jenkins server or GitHub user. Okay, then it's going to add all this. Then afterwards I'm sending that is forward this email to Mohammad Asim Akram. If you want to add any another one, then you can add multiple email address as well. From where? From my email address, and reply to this. If you need to ask something else, so you can override this email address of Jenkins administrator. Okay, so it's text HTML. And what I'm going to attach now, I'm going to attach two files because in my Jenkins pipeline I'm creating two files over here. One is trivfs.txt using Trivy scan. Then I'm taking trivimage.txt. These two files which is exist in my workspace Jenkins, right? That I'm going to add in my email address. So when I'm going to find that email address, sorry, email, in that email, I want these two files to be attached in that, right? You got my point. So I'm going to copy over here, right? I'm going to copy over here and I'm going to paste it over here. Okay, just let me hit enter. So it will be below the stages. Okay, below the stages. Okay, so in the align of status. So if you check it over here, I'm starting from this, then I'm adding one more bracket to come to close, right? To close the pipeline from here, right? This one is getting close over here. So you have to check the syntax. If you don't want any syntax in the red color, that means your script is fine, or else you can take help of online editors as well. Okay, so now I'm going to apply and I'm going to save it. Okay, now we have added one stage of post build action. So now I'm going to trigger it. Then you will be finding that after the build is happen, all the completed steps gone, right? After done everything happen, it will create one more stage stating that is a declarative post actions. Okay, where we will add all the what we have specified that emails, right? In the email what we have specified in the Jenkins pipeline, stating that add these files, that will be added and sent to the user, right? That means I have assigned what I have given the email address mine. So I'll be receiving the email stating all the status of my Jenkins pipeline with the uh, attached reports. Okay. Well, if you find it here, we have added one stage which is the build is gone success, right? That means our build number two is success, right? So let me cross check over once again. So the build is success. Now, as we have enhanced our pipeline, we should receive one email. Okay. So let's go and cross check my email address. So stating that just I have received one email address, right? So if I check it over it, that is 0 minutes ago, right? So what I'm going to do it, I'm going to check it over here. This is a Jenkins Bingo CI/CD pipeline. That's fine. And then it's saying that project Bingo one, which we have given. The Bingo one is of what? Of my project name, right? The name which I've given for the pipeline. So that is given over here. Then afterwards, what I'm finding, then it started by what build status is success because my pipeline, what the pipeline which I have triggered is success. After that, what happened? Then it's saying that started by AD. That means the user, who is the user now? I'm the user, right? AD. So I have logged in as Asim, right? The user is AD. So it's printing, it had fetching all the ANVs, environment variables, and it's adding in the email and it's forwarding to that. And even I'm adding one build URL. With that URL, anyone can go access my Jenkins server, right? Server and the project build as well. Okay. So what does it require? You require only authentication, like you require Jenkins user as Jenkins username and password to enter into that. This can be handled with Jenkins administration. If you check over here, we have found that there is two files have been attached over here, right? One is tv.txt. If I click on this, it's showing me that okay, it's readable format, right? If I want to unzoom over here, we're able to find that there is a one library which is outdated version. You can fix with this to 6.21 version. Okay, when it has happened, what the case has been done, this everything we will be finding over here. Even socket IO which I am using, it is 4.50 in my application, but there is a some issues like unhandled error events that can be fixed with either 2.5.1 like a rollback of your version or enhancement of your version. Okay, with this what we can do it from the Jenkins, we can attach any output file whichever we are creating in the Jenkins. Okay, so here also I'm scanning the Docker image of my Jenkins. Okay, so here you're going to find all related to this event, right? This is how you can attach any file, right? Any file if you want to, whichever you are creating in the Jenkins pipeline, that you can attach into your email, that in the post build action, that file will be forwarded with your pipeline alerts notification. Okay. This is a part two where we are going to deploy our Docker container into Kubernetes cluster. Okay. For that, we need to install EKS and kubectl on our application, right? On our system. So for that use case, what we are going to check it out, does our EKS is installed or no, right? If you print it over here, it's printing something EKS is done. So what we have done, we already installed all the packages. So we will go back to the document, right? If you check it over here, as I mentioned that what we have defined, we have created kubectl, we have installed kubectl, we have installed aws as well on our system, on our machine, then we have installed eksctl as well. Okay, so for that use case we have done every single thing what we supposed to do now. Okay, so for that use case what we are going to do it, first we need one we required one IAM role, right? With the IAM role, and we are going to create one user. With that user, we are going to authenticate with our EC2 instance to our AWS account. In this, the best practice is to create a IAM role, right? So let's go to IAM management over here. In the IAM management, what we will do it, we will go to the user. Let me create one user as the name as Bingo K 8s. Okay, then I'm not giving any AWS console management console permission because we don't require a GUI access. So I will say that I'm going to attach direct policies. So what are the policies we required is that we required EC2 full access, right? I will click on this EC2 full access, and then VPC full access, right? VPC full access. Then I required administration full access, then administration access. Then I required, let me cross check, I missed out two, cloud formation and VPC. I required cloud formation and I required VPC. VPC already given, so I think I required IAM full access. Okay, so I'm giving IAM full access. Right. So what we have selected, we have selected five policies which we required for our user. Okay, in order to authenticate to our AWS account. Okay, so that is done. So I'll go back over here and I will add next. Okay, so this five permission has been given and I will create the user. Now the user is created, but we don't have the access key out of this, right? So I'll click on this over here. So if we check it over here, there is no access key in order to it with our AWS account, right? Using this IAM user. For that user, we will create the access key. So I'll click on the command line interface. Then I will confirm next. So I no need to tag anything. I'll create. Please create the access key. Okay. For that use case, what I'm going to do, I'm not going to display this for the security reasons. So what I'm going to do is that just I'm going for here. Then I'm going to connect with this, right? Using our IAM user. Okay, so I'm going to use AWS configure where it will ask me AWS access key. So I'll be copying this over here and I'll be pasting over here. So I will hit enter. After that, it's asking for the secret access key, which I'm going to over here and I will be, then I will hit enter and everything I will keep it as default. Okay, so what happened, just I will hash over this one later on. So what we have done, we have added the credentials of AWS IAM user. Okay, so this prerequisite is completed. Then afterwards what we need to do it simply, I'm going to go and I'm going to create the EKS cluster, right? So what I'm going to do it, I'm going to create the cluster at 2 nodes minimum. If you check this command, so I'm using EKSCTL package. Create a cluster with the name of Cloud Asim Cluster 4, and the region I'm defining that is to be AP South 1. Okay. And what kind of node I'm going to take? It's a T2 medium. This is sufficient to host my Bingo application. Okay. And the zone AP South 1 A, and I'm defining two zones, AP South 1 1A and B. Okay. So I'll be copying only simple this command. Don't worry, this everything will be given as a document in the GitHub. I'm going to upload this. Okay, so I'm going to go over here and I'm going to paste it over here. So as I hit enter, it will start creating your cluster, right? Kubernetes cluster on your account. Okay. So what you need to do, just you need to go into AWS and you need to create IAM user and you need to create access key, secret access key. Then you need to add some policies. As I mentioned, five policies over there. This to set up, it will take 5 minutes. So I'll be keeping this as on the pause. Okay. If you check all the stack, EKS cluster has been created with the name of Cloud ASIM cluster 4. Okay. If you check the logs over here, it will take approximately 10 minutes, guys. You have to be patient to create this because we are using, we are configuring a lot of things in that, right? So that will take some time. Okay. So basically using CLI and we are configuring one Kubernetes cluster on EKS. Okay. So if you check it over here, it has taken AP South 1, AP South B. It has printed us on the public IP as well, private IP of our nodes. So it has created two nodes as I mentioned in our command, right? We have mentioned that it has to create two nodes over here, right? Okay. So two zones we have created. For that we have defined already. So that has been created. Now what we will do, we will go to AWS and will cross verify that it has been created or not. Okay, to just to let it know. So if I go over here, then it's showing that I don't have any running instance, right? So for that use case, first what I will do it, I will go in K8s. Okay, sorry, Kubernetes cluster EKS. So I need to go for EKS where I will be opening the clusters. So if I click on these clusters, right? So it should print me that there is one cluster has been created with the name Cloud ASIM. So if you check it over here, it's saying that a cluster is created with the name, what is the name? Cloud ASIM cluster 4. Okay, so now if you check it over here, it has created API server endpoints. It has created multiple things, right? Resources, if you check resources, like let me guess, there is no pods because we have not deployed yet our application into that. Okay, so if you check compute, right, it's saying that one group has been created. This all things will be networking. If you check over here, the subnet VPC and everything has been created backend. Okay, so this everything goes fine. So we have deployed one cluster into it. Okay, so now the thing is that if the cluster is done, so let's validate is that node has been deployed or no. The node what we have defined, that has to be T2 medium. Okay, so if I go over here and if I refresh, that is finding that yes, two nodes has been created with the name of Cloud ASIM cluster, right? Node 1 and node 2. Okay, and it has defined that, let me refresh, it has given T2 medium which we have given in the command. Okay, so that IP address also is given over here. So if you check it over here, so it's saying that two nodes has been created with this same IP address which is printing over. So that's fine. So what we have cluster, we have created two nodes. Now what we have to do it, we have to deploy our application into that, right? For that what we need, we required one configuration file manifest.yml. Okay, that file I have already created and over here. So I have one manifest.yml. Okay, where I have defined that API version to be v1. Then I'm using deployment, right? Instead of creating deployment.yml and service.yml, I have just combined into one document just to maintain it and to minimize the time. Okay, so in that case I'm going to replica. I'm using replica as two sets, right? And I'm saying that it's the type of rolling update. Okay, name I'm giving match and I'm giving app name as also bingo. Okay, in this case what I'm going to give it, I'm giving the name container as bingo container. And from where I'm going to fetch this image, from the Docker hub where I have account, right? With this name, my image is available in the Docker hub. That I will show you now as well. In this case, on how we are going to access now. Okay, we can access with the with the term uh, load balancer. Okay, load balancer. In the case is that whenever the pod is crashed, so it will get new IP, right? So best practice is to combine all these ports, the nodes and the pods and everything with the one load balancer. So with that load balancer, we can access our application, and that based on our load, that will be directed to the node 1 and node 2. Okay, so based on the traffic is coming, that will be diverted to the node 1 and node 2. Okay, so this all things I have been defined over here. And what I'm doing, target is 3000. I'm mapping with the port 30. Okay, so this is fine. Just and what I'm going to do, create the file over here as well. Okay, nano manifest dot yml. Okay, where I'm going to paste all the content which I have which I have written over here, right? The configuration file of yml. So this has been copied over here and I'll be pasting over here, right? After pasting here, I'm going to save and I'm going to exit. Now what I'm going to do it, I'm going to use kubectl -f I'm going to apply this so that all the configuration should apply, right? So I'm just pasting over here and I will hit enter. So what will happen? Kubectl will take and it will apply whatever written in this configuration file on that. Okay. So if it is printing me that deployment, right? Dot deployment app bingo deployment is created and service also. So now in this case, how we are going to get this point, right? For that use case, we can check multiple commands with that. So what I'm going to get it, I have created the pods, right? With that pod, I'm going to print the pods over here. So if I get hit enter, so it should get the pods available. So it's saying that two pods had been created. Okay. So that is what, how many time? That is one with the this ID and that is ending with a PT. Okay. So the next command what we are going to see, I'm going to check it out the logs of this. Okay. So just I'm going to take this, right, paste it. What we have printed till now, we have checked the logs, current log which is proceeding, right? So if I check over here, is printing that the logs what are the current log. In the point what we have described in that is that we have defined the load balancer as well, right? So let's go and check it out. Answer has been created or no, right? So I will go over here in the EC2 instance, then I'll be going from the down, then I'll be opening load balancer in the new tab. So it should create one load balancer when we have requested for the creation, right? So in this case, what I'm going to do it, one load balancer is created, right? If you click over here, it's stating that it just now, right? So if I click over here, then you'll be finding that DNS has been given. With the DNS, I'm going to access my application now. Okay, if I hit enter, then it should give the access of our application. So it's saying that this application is fine. Best part of is that we have defined two nodes, right? And we have given replica set out of that. So what will happen? See, I'll just let you know that let me create one room. Okay, Asim test room, right? I'll give it at Akram name. Okay, and I will hit enter. So now it will depend on the load balancer where the request to be processed. Okay, so now let's go and check it out in which container does it at created, in which pod. Okay, so in this case what will happen, just I'm going to get uh the command, right? Get pods, right? So let me check it out on which pod does it get the kubectl logs, right? And I'm going to take the logs of second pod. Okay, I'm going to paste it over here and I will hit enter. So what will happen? It will just check in on the log. So now it's saying that see, client server, client server, client server. So let us check it out one more. uh, kubectl kubectl logs of which containers? First container. Let's check it out with the first container now. Pod in the sense, hit enter. See, so it's what the traffic has been diverted to our first container. Okay, so based on the loads it will divert which pod in the watch pod the traffic has to be traffic has to be entertained or served. Okay, so now the point is that load balancer is accessible. Okay, now what we are going to do is that we are going to add one domain, subdomain for our load balancer, right? For our application. So in this case, what we required our domain access. For that, I have Cloudflare hosting where I have a domain cloud.sim.com, right? So I will be directing to that existing account where I have cloud sim, right? Where I have some of the entries over here, right? I'm going for the DNS. So in the DNS, I'm going to create one more record. Okay. For that record, what I'm going to do it, I'm going to go for load balancer over here. So it's let me just check it out. The load balancer, where is the load balancer is over here. So what is saying that it's a record, all right? So simply I'll go over here. So what I'm going to do it, just I'm going to add one CNAME entry for this one. So for that use case, what I'm going to do it, I'm going to create CNAME entry. For this, I'm going to give it as app Then afterwards, I'm going to paste the load balancer copied from this. Okay. So I'm going to save it over here. So now this changes has been added. Now it will take some time. Then this will be accessible. Okay. So for that use case, what I'm going to do, I'm going to go for app dot cloudawesome.com. Let us check is our application is accessible or no. Right, see if you check it over here, you will to find that this app, right, that domain subdomain which we have added for our application, that has been added successfully. Now we have already enabled one SSL certification as well. So if you check it over here, you'll be finding that the SSL certification has been given by what, by Cloudflare. Okay, if you check it here, Google Trust Services, and it is valid for 1 year. Okay, sorry, it is valid for 3 months. Okay, so this is how we can add apply it. So from where it's going to access, when I'm saying it's proxy, right, if I'm saying that is proxy, that means I'm adding SSL certification between that. So this SSL certification will act as an encryption, right, it will say, it will encrypt the data between the client. Now this is a part 3 where we are going to integrate monitoring within our project. Okay, for that monitoring we required one EC2 instance server from AWS. For that we are going to use stack Terraform to create one virtual machine on AWS. Okay, for that, where is our repository? This is the repository where I have a folder in the Terraform where I have all the code related to this, to creation of one virtual machine, that is monitoring server, right? What we are going to do is that we are going to clone this repository, right? For that use case, what we require, we are going for into our server access. Then what I'm going to do, I'm going to create one directory so that I can uh, I can clone inside that. Okay, so I will keep it as Terra, right? I will hit enter. Then what I'm going to do, I'm going to go inside that Terra and I'm going to clone that. Okay, so what I'm going to use, I'm going to use git clone command to clone my repository from GitHub. Okay, for that I'm going to copy over here, then I'm going to paste it. Okay, so if I hit enter, so I'm going to clone whatever the stored on my repository on the GitHub, which is stored now, it's accessible on my server side. Okay, now I will go inside this bingo one application, right? Then what happened, I will go inside this bingo directory where I can see all my code related to Terraform, right? So I will go quickly into Terraform, right, Terraform directory, where if I ll over here, I'm going to see that there is a 3 files which are main.tf, variable t output tf, and variable tf. Okay, so if I nano over here main.tf, right, which will be showing with that what we are going to do it, right? So we are defining that the version of Terraform archicop is 5.0, and then I'm going to select the zone on which my EC2 instance should be configured on my account, AWS account. So I'm specifying that AP South 1 is my zone. Then I'm going to give it two access keys, right, which is access key and secret key. This key we are using repeated, which we have configured below while creating EKS cluster, right? So that is fine. Then afterwards I'm creating one AWS security group. That security group I'm going to attach now inside our EC2 instance. Okay, for my EC2 instance. So in this EC in the security group, I'm just opening port 22. Then later on we will open all the ports, right, what we require. After that, just I'm going, it's open for everywhere. Okay, if you check it over, I'm mentioning that what AMI I'm going to use. This AMI basically is driven from AWS account, where I'm going to use T2 medium for Ubuntu. Okay, Ubuntu operating system, where I'm defining AWS security group. I'm using the same which I have defined above. Okay, then afterwards everything is fine. So I'll be exiting from this. If I cat variables, right, let me just give it over here. This file you need to edit. Okay, so based on your requirement, what you need to do, just I'm defining that instance name to be monitoring server. Then afterward, I'm defining that key which is used for this after configuring this EC2 instance is the name of Terra. Okay, that should be available on your AWS account. Okay, if I'm going for AWS, then I'm going for key pair, right? There, if you check it over, I have created one Terra key. Okay, if you have not available, so what you can rename, you can give your existing key name, or else you can just click on the Terra and you can give the name as Terra 1, for example. Okay, then if you have to select for PEM, then create key pair, so that will be downloaded in your local machine. You can use it after accessing. Okay, just give it name as Terra. Okay, you got this point as well. So after that, just I'm defining that uh, variable access key, right, and secret access key. Okay, these two keys you need to update over here. Okay, for this two case, what you need to do, you need to update this. Okay, so for that use case, just I'm going for AWS again, where I have configured before secret access key for EKS cluster, right? Then I have given bingo K8s user, so I'll be copying the same key over here, then I'll be pasting here. Then afterwards I'll be coming down, then I need to give it secret access key as well. Okay, so just I will overwrite over here. Just when you create your keys, just update with your existing keys. Okay, just I'm going to copy over here, then I'm going to paste it over here. Okay, so after that I'm going to exit, save, enter. Okay, if I cat now the variables, sorry, output, we missed out output, right? Nano output.tf. If you check it here, just I want to get the IP address of my EC2 instance by after creation. So that's fine. Just I'm going to exit. Now the commands which we required for the Terraform is terra Terraform init. So it will initialize Terraform inside this directory. Okay. So it's saying that I don't have Terraform. So how we are going to install Terraform? So that as well I have in my installation script, which is in the same bingo project, right, directory, in the bingo project repository. Okay, so if you go over here, you will be finding installation script. Okay, installation script, you will have Terraform installation, right? I'll be copying from here. I'm going over here, then let me go back to right root directory, then I will execute this command. Okay, I'm inside home directory. I'm going to paste it over here and hit enter. So what will happen, it will install Terraform on our EC2 instance, because we have not installed before, right? Now if you check it over here, Terraform, right, Terraform hyphen hyphen version, you're able to print that the Terraform has been installed. So let's go over into Terra, then afterwards bingo, then afterwards I have Terra command. If I ll over here, you're able to find that there is three files available which already have updated with our credentials. Okay, so what I'm going to do it now, I'm going to initialize this directory. Okay, so it will initialize this directory. If my all my configuration file is fine, then it will initialize. Otherwise it will prompt that there is a configuration, there is error, syntax error in your configuration files. Okay, if you check it over here, Terraform has been successfully initialized, right? So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go for Terraform plan, which will print me that what resources I'm going to use it. Okay, so it's saying that you're going to create two resources to add. Okay, so I'm saying that Terraform apply. Okay, then I will give it as auto, then sorry, auto, then so that it should not ask me any like prompt yes or no, right? So I will hit apply. So what will happen, it will create resources on our account. Okay, so it will take few seconds. In that it will create all the resources. If you check it over here, what it happened, it has started creating all the resources. Okay, so VPC is created, inside that AMI is attached, then CLI block is going to apply over here, security group is created. Okay, it's saying that two has added plan as per plan. Then what's happened, it will fetch after later on, it will fetch the IP address of our EC2 instance. Okay, how you're going to validate now, if I'm going for AWS and if I'm going to open over here, then you're able to find that one EC2 instance is created over here. Okay, so this EC2 instance is created now. Okay, monitoring server which I have given the name. So what I'm going to do it, I'm going to take this IP address. Then I'm going to go for over here. I'm going to go for SSH client. I'm going to use this here IP address. Then I'm going to Ubuntu. Then I'm going to the key which I have given Terra, right? That I'm going to pass over here. Terrapem. Okay. Just click OK. So I'll be inside this uh, monitoring EC2 instance. Okay. First thing I'll be switching to root user. Then I'm going to update all the packages related to this machine because we are creating new machine. So the best practice is to update first the Linux packages from AWS. Okay. Whatever the package was required, that everything will be updated over here. Now, what we'll do it, we need to install Grafana on this EC2 instance, right? For that, I'm going to go for this Grafana and Prometheus. First, let's configure Prometheus on this, okay? So if you check it over, this is the official website of Prometheus, where you're going to check it out, how you're going to install Prometheus on this machine. So what I'm going to do it, I'm going to go over here and I'm going to take for Linux machine because I'm going for the Linux, right? So simply I click over here and I will say copy link, okay? So after that, what I'm going to do, I'm going to use wget, right? And I'm going to paste it over here, the URL. If you hit enter, you are going to see that one file will be created. Okay. So it will fetch all the file which is available over here. What I'm going to do it, I'm going to use, I missed to give one flag, right? I no need the flag of C, just mistype, hit enter. So what will happen, it will untar your directory which is was there. Okay, if you ll here one directory is content, right, which is unzipped. Okay, so you can say unzip. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to delete this first which was Prometheus dot rgz, okay, because we don't require now. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to go inside Prometheus here, right? If you ll over here, you're going to see there are some files over here, right? So if I zoom over here, you're going to find this Prometheus.yml file in which we are going to add some of the configurations. Okay, so first thing what I'm going to do, I'm going to execute this Prometheus. I'm going to run this Prometheus backend services, right? So I'm how you can write. If you see over here, it's say it is showing in the green color. That means this file is executable file. Okay. So I'm going to use Prometheus. Okay, and I'm going to give it and to run this in the background. If you hit enter over here, you're going to find that this service has been started. So now how you're going to check it on which port that is going to that is running. Okay. So I can use net start, right, to just check it out over here. So what happened, I don't have this tool, so it's saying that please use this command. The beauty of this Linux is that it will prompt you the command as well. With that you can install their packages. Okay, so let me just check netstat. If you check over here, let me unzoom. Okay, so if you check it over here, you're going to find that there is 19090 on which Prometheus is running. Okay, so what I need to do it, I need to go into this and I need to go for security group over here. Then I'm going to open this security group. In the security group, I'm going to open this. I'm going to open 9090 for Prometheus, right? So let's go and I will say promo, right? Just I will update so that I can access over here. So what is the IP address of this machine? Simply I can go over here, then I'll be clicking over here, then I'll be just editing, I'll be saving this, right? And I'm going to open in the browser with port number 9090. If we hit enter over here, you're saying that Prometheus is working. So the service of Prometheus is up and running, right? So for that use case, this is fine. So now what we require, we need to configure node exporter, and we need to configure black box exporter inside these machines. Okay. First use case, what we are going to see, we required one black box exporter. Okay. So for the black box exporter, what we need to do it, we are going to give it same way what we have done. So I'll be going click on this copy link, right? If you want to check it out why this black box exporter you required, right? You can go and you can check it over here. Black box export allow you to probe the endpoints of HTTPS and HTTP protocols. Okay, what are the protocols on your website is going on? You can track that everything. Okay, you got my point. So just I'll go over here and I will use, let me go outside of this, and what I'm going to do wget, and I'm going to paste this link. Okay, so what I'm going to do it, I'm going to download the packages to install black box exporter on our virtual machine, which is for the monitoring. Okay, please don't get confused on the monitoring server. Okay, so if I ll over here, you're going to find this command. Okay, so for that I'm going to unzip this using like xvf, then afterwards I'm going to give it a black box, right? It's entered, so it's untracked, that means, sorry, it has been unzipped. So what I'm going to do it now, I'm going to delete this file which is taking my space, black box dot tar. Okay, so if you look over here, you'll be finding one directory with the name of black box. Okay, black box, if you go inside black box, you're going to find that there is a one black box exporter. Okay, which is even executable. If you see over here, it's in the green color. Okay, so now what I'm going to do it, I'm going to just run this using dot forward slash, right, and then black box, right. I'm going to give it and to run in the background. If we enter over here, right, and let's go and let me check one more time, and which this black box is running on which port number. If you check it over here, it's saying that black box is running on which 9115. Okay, so what I'm going to do it, I'm going to open 9115 as well. Okay, 9115. So save rules, so it's possible, right? So what I'm going to do it, I'm going to take this over here and I'm going to paste on the browser, and I'm going to create 9115. Okay, so let me check it out what we have given over here, port number 9115, right? So hit enter. So what will happen, it will say that our black box exporter is working fine. So if you check it over here, there is no such probe has been given now. Okay, if you check here, there is no target, no module, no result, and nothing has been given over here. Is what we are going to do it now, we are going to add one configuration file where we are going to specify that on which IP address we are going to monitor it, right? So for that use case, what we are going to do is that instead of monitoring our domain, so for your practicing purpose, what I'm going to do, before we have done one Docker container, right, up and running. So let me just check it out. Is my Docker still is working on all right? Docker PS, right? It's saying my Docker PS application is up and running, right? So for that use case, let me take the IP address of this. Okay, let me edit over here. Let me take the IP address. Then I'm going to give it in the browser. Okay, in the browser, what I'm going to do it, I'm going to give the IP address. Then I'm going to give it 3000, right? So in our target, what we are going to do, we are going to monitor this application traffic, right, from where how the traffic is coming to this and everything we're going to check out. For that use case, what we required one a configuration file which we need to add it over here. This is a configuration file which we're going to add. So for that, I'm going to give it over here. Instead of giving this, I'm going to give it the IP address. Okay, then I'm going to give it the port number, right? Then I'm going to give it over here the HTTP protocol, because in your practice you cannot specify any domain. For the practice you can add any one, right? So for that use case, I'm going to add it over here, the target as this IP address on which we are going to check what is the HTTP protocol is going on, right? And here on above, I have, as I mentioned, that I'm going to copy over this, and on which our node exporter had been added, that IP address I'm going to give it over here. Okay, so just I have copied over here. So just I'm going to copy. Then what I'm going to do, I'm going to go for my monitoring server over here. Then I'm going to open what Prometheus .yml file. Okay, if you go down over here, you're going to find that I need to copy some of the configurations over here. So I'll go below of this, which you see a dash over here, right? I'm going to paste it exactly which I have copied. Okay. So if you check it, the notation over here, it should be similar, same to that. We have copied over here, right? So I will use controls Y and X and Y, and I will civil find. Now when I have copied, I have edited the configuration file of Prometheus .yml, where we have added the target as well, right? If I enter over here, so if you check it over here, we have added one more target, right? We have added two targets over here. One is Prometheus.io, which we are going to monitor. Then we are going to monitor our application on which it is running on as a Docker container on our IP address, right? And port number. So simply what I'm going to do, I'm going to start Prometheus service. Okay. Prometheus in the background. Hit enter. So what happened? It started up and running our service of Prometheus. Okay. I will hit enter. Then what happened? I will go back over to the Prometheus, right? Where I'll be back to the Prometheus now. Then what I'm going to do, I'm going to go over in the status. Then I'm going to check my targets over here. If you check the target over here, it's saying that the targets, right? This probe for Prometheus IO, that's also working fine. And the Prometheus for this, right? Which is my application, that is also working fine, right? Target is given now. Target is up and running. So now what we require? We require Docker, we require Grafana to check this matrix. Okay. Now one more thing is that if I go into the log box exporter, if I refresh over here, there it started fetching the logs as well. Okay. So it say that, see, it's monitoring my IP address, and if it is monitoring the Prometheus.io as well. So now the matrix what we are collecting, that is in the different format, but we required one visualizations, right? So for the visualization, what we required Grafana. Okay. For that, I'm going to take Grafana. Okay. Grafana on Ubuntu. Okay, simply I'll be clicking on this. So simply I'll going on the Grafana labs. So from here we'll take the commands and we will install Grafana on our machine. Now what we will do, it we will install Grafana, right? As I mentioned that we are going for the packages. Just let me copy and run this commands on the terminal, right? On which server we are going to run, we are going to install Grafana as well as on the monitoring server. Okay. So let me go back again over here. Then I'll be copying this command, right? I'll be pasting over here. Then afterwards, let me copy these keys. Let me paste over here. Then afterwards, let me add a repository. Okay, we have added the stable release. That's fine for us. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to update the packages, because it's the best practice whenever you're going to add any packages on your while you're configuring tools, we need to update our server. Okay, so all the packages will be updated with sudo apt update. Fine, update is done. Then what we are going to do, now we are going to install Grafana on our server. Okay, so I'll be using sudo apt install Grafana. So it's asking why, so I'll just proceed. Okay, if I net start over here, right, it should show me that Grafana is running, right? So let me just recheck again. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to start the Grafana servers, right? So just me add over here and let's see what's the status now. So we are starting the Grafana server now, right? Now let us just check the status of Grafana. Status of Grafana server. It's saying that the service is up and running. So let us check if the net stat, right, is on which port that is running. So it's saying that the Grafana is running on 3000 port number, right? 3000 port number. Okay, that's fine. So the 3000 port number is already empty on our server, right? because we are using a monitoring server, right? Okay, fine. So what we need to do, I need to go and on this on our EC2 instance. Okay, simply what I'm going to do it, I'm going into security group. I'm going to go for the edit and bold rules. There I'm going to add 3000 port over here. The reason why I'm adding progress is so that you should have all the information as well, that for which port is using for what. Okay, so I may pre as a prerequisite I would have opened all the ports, but still just to make sure that in the process flow I'm going to use all this one, right? So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to access this, right? I'm going to access with the IP address. So simply I'm going to copy the IP address, then I'm going to give it port number over here as of 3000, right? Hit enter. So what it will prompt us to add the logins, right? So by default the Grafana username and the password is same. That means it's admin and admin. Okay, so it prompt you to add it over this, right? So then after it's asking me to add the password, so just giving new password. By default it is always admin admin. Okay, so password has been updated. Okay, now if you check it over, this is the dashboard of Grafana, where we need to configure first Prometheus, then we will use visualization effects. Okay, for that you have to go for where just go over here, data source. Let me just check it over here. Application connection. Yes, you have to go for the connection and then you have to go for data source. So it's asking that you need to integrate the data source into it. So I will ask is the data source. Then I'm going to check out with the Prometheus, because we are going to integrate Prometheus with the Grafana. Okay. Then afterwards is asking on which server this Prometheus is up and running. So for that use case, you know very well that it's working on which, in our server. Okay, the server is for monitoring server. Okay, which I'm going to give it over here. Then after I say there is no authentication because we have not enabled this. Okay, this we are going to cover in another video, right? Then afterwards I'll go everywhere, then I will go everything, and I will say that save and test. So it says that successfully queried the Prometheus API. So it's saying that is fine. So now save and test, that's successfully done. So now what we have done, we have added the credentials, sorry, we have added Prometheus server into Grafana, right, for as a data source. Now what we need to do, we need to create the dashboard, right? So to create the dashboard, if you click it over here, then it's saying that which kind of dashboard you want to integrate. So I'm going to create import dashboard, right? So it's saying that import dashboard. So just I'm going to click on this import dashboard, right? Just a second. No, just a second. We have something. Fine. What we need to do, we need to add the dashboard to visualize whatever data with the Prometheus is collecting. That we need to see in the form of any time series or any time gauge analytics like visualization. So for that use case, what we are going to do, we are going to go for the dashboard, right? In the dashboard, what I'm going to do, I'm going to create the new dashboard. Okay. When you click on this, it's going to the import dashboard. So discard the changes, just go over here. Then it's saying that you can import any JSON file, or you can, what you can do it, you can go and you can import any dashboard over here. So I'll be clicking over the dashboard. Then afterwards, what I'm going to do it, I'm going to go for search for Prometheus. Okay. We'll go for the black box. Okay. Because we have already configured black box, right? Black box. So if you check it over here, it's saying that black box exporter is available. Okay. So what I'm going to do it, I'm going to take this black box exporter, right? I'm going to copy this ID over here. Then I'm going to paste it over here. This I'm going to import. Okay. This dashboard, which is visualizing over here, that I'm going to import. So I'll say load, right? Then afterwards import. Now it's asking that what kind of data source you are going to select. I'm selecting the data source Prometheus, right? And I'm saying import, right? So if you click it over here, it's saying that, see, it's already stating that this is being accessed, right? 3000, right? And it's accessing Bingo, Cloud Asim, then afterwards Prometheus.io. Then three kind of things are going on, right? For this use case, I'm not using this one, right? This is old. Now what we have done, we are monitoring this kind of our application metrics, right? So if you check it over, it's saying that this is up and running, status is 200, that is accessible. Okay, it's a certification not been added because it is only temporary IP, right? On the IP and the port number we have done. DNS lookup is nothing. SS certification, everything is fine. Here if you check it over here, it's stating that this is off because I have stopped this uh, uh, our cluster to avoid the charges, right? Okay, that's fine. So if you check it where the prompt is saying that how what the prompt is coming, what has been in which millisecond the request has been proceed. Okay. So if I go below over here, I can monitor in details over here. Okay. So it's processing, it has been connected, this everything goes well. So one data source we have added over here. The second data set, what we need to do, we need to install node exporter in order to get all the data of our server, Bingo server, right? Bingo EC2 install on which we have configured everything. For that use case, what we need to do, we need to go and configure node exporter. Okay. So I'll be switching back over here to this server on which we have configured like EKS cluster and we have used everything, right? So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go over here. Then I'm going to go for Prometheus. Just a second, where are the Prometheus? Then I'm going to install node exporter. Okay, so the node exporter is over here. Then I'm going to copy this link. Then I'm going to go for wget, paste it over here and hit enter, right? Then after if ll over here, you're going to find that node exporter is there. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to untar this one. Okay, tar dash x vf. Then afterwards I'm going to give it node. Okay, just I'm going to untar. Then I'm going for inside the directory, right? If I ll over here, you're able to find that there is a one node exporter. In order to proceed further, I'm going to execute this because it's in the green color, right? So I'm going to use it. I'm going to hit enter. So what happened, it has I think I have not run this in the background, so let me run in the background as well. Okay, so I'll be using, let me just a second, I'll be using the command and then I'm going to use and ampersand just to run in the background. So if you check it over here, it has 9100 is on running on this. If I want to cross check, right, that on which port number that is running, right? So it's saying that 9000, just a second, 9100, right? On which this is running. So what I can do, I can go and access this from the browser. So let me go and just copy this IP, right? Then I'm going for 9100. Okay, if I enter, then I'm able to access the node exporter now. If you check it here, there is no data has been done because we have not add any configuration file to that. Okay. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to add this into the Prometheus. Okay. So that we are going to integrate this node exporter into Prometheus. Okay. So for that use case, what I need to do, I need to go to the Prometheus server. Okay. So I'll go back over here. Then I'll go to the monitoring server. Then what I'm going to do, I'm going to go for cd Prometheus. Then afterwards see nano. Then afterwards I need to go open Prometheus Prometheus.yml file, right? In that file I need to add one more stage, right? One more target group which I'm going to add, that I have already written over here, right? Here I need to update my IP address, right? So on my which node exporter is running on, it's running on 3000, sorry, 3 and 211, right? So that's I'm going to go and I will add it over here. Just I need to remove everything additional. Just I need only plain IP address. Okay. Just I'm going to copy. Just I'm saying that node exporter is running on this. Please go and access. And this is only, there is no authentication even applied for that. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go below this and I'm going to check exactly and I'm going to paste it over here, right? And let me just fix this. And then afterwards, I need to fix over this. Then I need to fix this. Okay, that's fine. Then I'm going to Control X and I'm going to save it. Okay, so what I'm going to do now, I'm going to kill this, stop this server Prometheus, right? And I'm going to restart this because we added one more target as well, right? With the node exporter. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to kill this with the process ID on which this Prometheus is running. Just I'm going to kill this, right? Okay. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to start the service because I have already killed, right? So in this case, we can use one more command where we can run Prometheus in the backend, and even you can log all the process of protein, like logs what is generating in the Prometheus in one file, that is txt. Okay. So for that, we can use the same command over here. Just I'm running the service and I'm logging into prometheus.log file. Okay. So just go and paste it over here and hit enter. Okay, it's stating that it's running, up and running, right? Let me just cross check again with the net stack. So it's saying that Prometheus is up and running. So now if I'm going to go through the Prometheus, then it should find me one more uh, targets, right? If I am going to refresh the target, then I should able to find one target is over here. So what's the target? The target is node exporter. You're able to find that node exporter is fine. So now if I'm going to refresh over here, I'm going to find the loads of this. Okay, hey, the logs and everything what is finding. So refresh this. Let me check matrix. Yes, the matrix is being collected now. Okay, so everything now it is in the readable format, but we need visualization of that. So what we are going to do, we are going to integrate this as well in the Grafana. Okay, so for that use case, what I'm going to go back to my Grafana, right? Then I'm going for the dashboard. Then I'm saying that I want one more new dashboard, right? There, what I'm going to do, I'm going to import from this, right? I'm going again for grafana.com, right? There, if I go down over here, then I'm be finding node exporter full. Okay, this is a dashboard which is available. So just I'm going to copy over this, then I'm going back over here. I'm going to paste the ID over here. So I'm loading the dashboard of that is predefined dashboard from Grafana. Okay, so it's finding the dashboard. Now it's asking that what kind of node exporter, sorry, data source you are going to add it. So I'm going to drop down, then I'm going to check. Yes, from the Prometheus, I'm going to add on this, right? So because the Prometheus is, I have added node exporter, right, in the Prometheus. So from Prometheus, I'm going to fetch from the Grafana. Okay. So if you check it over here, you're going to find that the load on my EC2 instance of is 84.6%. Okay. And what is the RAM I'm being used? 28% one. And the file size I'm using 49.1. So let's go and validate over here. Okay. So if I'm going for this, it's saying that 4.3 I'm going to use. Yes, fine. And have 50% I have used. So let's check. It's saying correct. Then the load also is saying almost the CPU is busy because my container is up and running on that, right? From here, you can select any time block, right? 5 minutes to even for the 4 days, 1 week, depend on you how much time you want to time frame. Okay, I'm selecting 5 minutes and let me refresh now. So if you find that there is see when I've uploaded my packages on this server, so that CPU consumption got very low. Okay, so it was consumed. So let me check for 12 hours is saying that it is 36%. So this you can check it out what was the average is that and what the CPU utilization is going on, right? If you check on this below, you're going to find CPU of this current state, even traffic and everything. You can just check it out. Okay, node exporter and everything. This is how you can monitor. You can add the monitoring to your website, to your EC2 instance on which you're going to monitor it, right? So this part is completely done. So whatever we have assigned, like uh, whatever task we were having, like, right, to do the task of the Jira, right? What was assigned to it? We already have integrated GitHub. We already added static code analysis. We have done. We have integrated CI, Jenkins CI/CD. Then I have integrated email alerts as well, and we have deployed to Kubernetes cluster, and we have added domain accesses as well. So accessible testing we have done. We have added monitoring and logging to make sure that our application is monitored 24 into 7. In case of any disaster, everything we can use this Grafana and Prometheus to trace down and to have the case study to verify that what's causes for the downtime or spike of the resources. Okay, consumption. Please don't forget to delete your resources what you have created. Okay, so what you need to do, you need to go to the bingo server, right? From there you need to destroy this ec2 instance. With this ec2 instance you are going to destroy whatever has been configured on that. Okay, so practice this and delete all the resources you have been used. Delete the eks cluster, delete the ec2 instance, delete the keys what you have created, right? So it will provide you the threat as well. So delete all the resources what you have done. Okay, need to go to cd. We need to go over here, cd terraform. Then okay guys, what we need to do, we need to go to the directory where we have configured terraform, right? So I'll be going cd terraform, right? Then afterwards the bingo directory, and then afterwards I have terraform directory. Okay, if you ls over here, I have all the code over to here. So what I'm going to do it, I'm going to use terraform destroy. Okay, so this command will destroy all the resources what you have created using terraform. Okay, so this is a big practice. After your tutorial, after you're practicing, please do destroy all the resources what you have created just to minimize your cost. Okay, please don't forget this. So it's destroying everything, it will destroy everything what we have created. Okay, so it's successfully destroyed. This command, just you need to copy this. Okay, whatever you have given over here, just go and paste it over here. Okay, when you hit enter, all this created load balancer, nodes, clusters, and everything will be deleted. Okay, so this will minimize your cost, it will eliminate the costing of from aws. Okay. Okay, please don't forget to share, subscribe with your friend, and practice multiple times so that you have hands-on hands-on knowledge on this. And please do share with your friends and everything, and tag me on the LinkedIn as well so that it can be reached to the uh, uh, maximum students who need to have hands-on on these projects. Okay, thank you guys, see you next time.